just going to give you all a little quick update on Bill C-11. It has not passed in the Senate. It just passed the second reading. So Bill C-11 is the Online Streaming Act, a bill that seeks to give the Trudeau Liberals the ability to curb free speech, to censor controversial and unpopular speech on the internet. It's a step that the Trudeau government is taking based on no regular Canadian's recommendation. Trudeau's new bill would give the Canadian Radio and Television Commission, the CRTC, new sweeping powers that would enable them to regulate online streaming service they wanted, including that of private citizens. Other sections of the Online Streaming Act, or Censorship Act, create loopholes that would leave space for CRTC to regulate podcasts and videos. What this act gives with the right hand, it takes back with the left. Should Bill C-11 become law, the CRTC could regulate everything, and it will open the floodgates for unelected bureaucrats appointed by the Government of Canada, Prime Minister Justin Trudeau, to censor and regulate everything on the internet. The entire audiovisual world will be fair game, as though the entire globe should be subject to Canadian broadcast jurisdiction. The CRTC itself will have the power to exempt or not some services from its regulations. This Canadian censorship bill may have far-reaching implications. Widespread internet censorship mandated by the Liberal government will have a huge impact on the lives of Canadians. Canadian Radio, Television and Telecommunications Commission is made up of 9 commissioners who are appointed after being selected by the Prime Minister. Currently, the CRTC has a broad mandate of regulatory authority, including setting internet and cell phone bill rates, granting broadcasting licenses, enforcing a certain amount of Canadian content on broadcasters, and having broad discretion in determining what is seen and heard over these mediums. Granting these unelected bureaucrats power over the internet is problematic for 2 reasons. 1, Bill C-11's language is so broad and unspecific, it leaves the door wide open to widespread abuse and virtually no safeguards for free speech. 2, Trudeau's radical left government has a pattern of abusing power and bureaucratic institutions. Bill C-11 is the chance to legislate permanent government control over the internet. If this Online Streaming Act bill is passed, all internet content in Canada will be at the mercy of the CRTC's discretion. This bill is a bad and dangerous idea. In this form, broadcasting is subject to the CRTC's regulations. Therefore, the state will gain the power to censor or remove particular content they want. Despite these implications, C-11 is being masqueraded by Trudeau's government and the mainstream media as a benign way to protect democracy and free speech from online disinformation. Bill C-11 could create the most authoritarian regulatory framework of any democracy in the world. This makes it a grave threat to overall freedom of expression in Canada. The Liberals are attempting a colossal power grab while pretending they aren't. During a committee meeting, the CRT chairman, Ian Scott, admitted that the current shape of the bill would give them the power to regulate the internet. Former CRTC Vice Chair Peter Menzies predicted a bleak future in which online speech is no longer a right but a privilege. If you are a Canadian, do you want 9 unelected officials selected by Trudeau deciding what you can and cannot read or watch or listen to on the internet? Needless to say, that is a terrifying thought. Bill C-11 had its second reading in the Senate on October 25th. They resumed debate of the Online Streaming Act, Bill C-11, with some senators' concerns as follows. The government and the bureaucrats who wrote this bill have wrongly treated the internet as a form of broadcasting. The whole thing about this bill is about protecting the big corporate players in our television and film sector that are used to calling the shots under the old system and want to make sure that nothing changes under the new modern system. The government sponsors and all the support of this bill in this chamber talk poetically about the urgent need to modernize the Act in order to account for the realities of the digital age, but nowhere do I see any modern thinking or anything of the government having thought outside the box and outside the traditional habits when it comes to broadcasting. A lot of what is in Bill C-11 was built around principles from 50 years ago. Those principles no longer apply. Consumer choice and consumer protection will be the inevitable losers if we pass this bill. As legislators, I do not believe we can simply stand by and permit that to happen. I'm cautiously hopeful that our committee will send the government a strong message and vote to fix laws in this legislation and substantially improve it. We've waited decades and decades to deal with the Broadcasting Act, and we have an opportunity to fix it in a nonpartisan, transparent fashion. We shouldn't be enacting laws that seek to sweep so much content into a regulatory scheme. The Commissioner recommended that we adopt an amendment to clearly incorporate the protection of privacy as an objective of the Act. We're also interfering with the business of Canadian digital creators. We're interfering with their livelihoods. They're asking us not to do so. They're telling us that they're doing quite well already and they deserve to be left alone. If we leave user-generated content in this bill, we are saying that we don't think Canadian creators are capable of doing it on their own. Regardless, it's taken this long. So taking a little more time now to get it right is not the doomsday scenario the government would have us believe it is. Colleagues, Canadian artists have never been busier in history in this country. And it's because of the new platforms and the new opportunities, not because of legacy broadcasters. I think there's work to be done on how we achieve what we want to achieve in a fair manner without compromising consumer choice and affordability. On October 26th, in the business of the Standing Senate Committee on Transport and Communications, Senators' concerns continued as follows. If one is to be logical about this, the most important part of this bill is the regulatory aspect of it, which is squarely in the shoulders of the incoming chair of the CRTC and the board. I will personally take to steering that we consider having the incoming CRTC chair testify along with the minister before we return here for a final approval. So, there is still time to sign petitions out there, or call your senators, or email them with your concerns over censorship issues of this Bill C-11 Online Streaming Act. I have a list of all those Nova Scotia senators if anybody wants a copy. It's not too late. At least the Senate is not rushing this bill through like was done in the House of Commons with the MPs. Your voice counts. There are several petitions out there currently, and I have posted several on Facebook. Thank you all for coming. Appreciate it. And we'll see you at the next rally.